Hi, I'm Emily. Welcome to my YouTube channel. This is the place to be if you're ready to find health and happiness within your chronic illness. Or if you're not ready and you have a chronic illness, whatever. This is the place to be. So I wanted to share an experience that I recently had that it actually happened a few weeks ago. When it was happening, I made the decision that the second I got home, I was going to do something about it. I was going to make a video blog or write about it or do something. But it's actually taken me a little bit of time to deal with it. I wasn't sleeping after it happened. I was really stressed out. So anyway, after 18 years as a diabetic, I felt as if I had seen it all. I've been asked why I have diabetes if I'm not fat. I've had airport attendants yell at me and tell me to remove my cell phone from the waistband of my pants. It was my bump. And I've always believed that if it got to the point where I was so sick that I needed the help of doctors and nurses, I would feel safe in the hospital. So I want to start off by saying thank you to the nurses and medical staff that truly do care. I know there are a lot of you out there, and I didn't really get much of that, but I know it's out there. So Hannah, Steve, and Liza, you guys made my Norwalk Hospital experience a little less terrifying, horrific, horrible. So anyway, yeah, you guys made me less scared. I felt as though for those shifts that I did have you guys, I had an advocate. And there are so many wonderful medical professionals out there, so I don't want anyone thinking this is directed at you. So what I'm about to say is directed at the medical professionals who don't care. I don't really know why some of you got into this field in the first place if you didn't want to give care and make people feel better, but if that's you, I think you need to step back and grab a pen and paper and learn from the people in the hospitals that do care. So I also want to say that I've had so many amazing doctors who had no people skills, and that was fine. They were completely stern and serious. This isn't directed towards those people either, because that kind of patient-doctor interaction is worlds better than what I experienced a few weeks ago. So it's really hard for me to admit that I failed. So I'm a health coach, I'm a holistic nutritionist, and I made a mistake. So I try to post when something bad happens to me because it's so outweighed by the good stuff, but this feels different. A hospital stay is a big deal, and I don't really want anyone thinking that it makes me less qualified to help other people like me. If anything, I feel like after having gone what I went through a few weeks ago, it not only made me a better health coach, but it made me realize how unbelievably important this whole patient advocacy thing is that I'm doing. I went into the hospital as type 1 diabetic in ketoacidosis. So basically, I had a virus that my body was having trouble getting rid of. Normally when I have a virus, I know how to handle it on my own. In the past 18 years, this is the second time I've been to the hospital. So, and I've obviously been sick in the past 18 years, but I just know how to handle it. So for those of you that don't know what ketoacidosis is, basically my blood sugar was too high for too long during the night, and it led to a lot of throwing up. So I was throwing up for 30 hours total. A few of those hours were at home, and then eventually I realized I needed to get some fluids in me and didn't want to go low and not be able to treat it. So I entered a state where I couldn't hold down any food because the ketones were just basically like acid flowing through my body. My heart was racing, and the second I got to the hospital, they took my insulin pump. And so I have these numbers that are going through my body. I have insulin levels going through my body that have been strategically chosen based on blood sugar levels that were studied. And so for these doctors that have never even met me before to be like, oh, we'll take it. We have control over your insulin now. It doesn't make a lot of sense, and I really, really, really want to get the point across that, like, if you take anything from this today, if you are a diabetic and you are admitted into the hospital, God forbid, do not let them take your pump. Like, fight them tooth and nail. Do not let them take the pump. So my whole thing is, like, if a non-diabetic entered the hospital, they wouldn't be like, we're going to turn off your pancreas so that we can control what it's producing. It's just not a thing. So my pump is my pancreas. Like, don't take my life support, especially when you're not going to properly replace it. Second issue, I was asked what drugs I was withdrawing from. They didn't say, like, did you take any drugs, or have you ever experienced with drugs? They just hit me with that really assumptive question of, which drugs did you take? So in the days following, I was told that I had horrible control over my diabetes. That's actually not true at all. The numbers that they were basing this statement off of were the numbers from the hospital, which they were in 100% control of. So no, you have horrible control, not me. So I also later found out that at one point during the hospital stay, they were giving me a sugar drip instead of an insulin drip, which could have killed me. And they let me throw up for 30 hours. So I sat with acid coming up. It wasn't even like food or anything substantial that I was throwing up at that point. Sorry, that's gross. But it was literally just stomach acid coming up and sitting in my esophagus. And it was horribly painful. So for like the next 2 weeks after that happened, I was still feeling the pain. And I still don't even feel 100% back to normal. So I'm not putting this out there to complain at all. I'm not playing the victim. I'm not trying to make people feel sorry for me. I just need people to know that this happens. There was a girl a while ago. It was pretty recent, I think. She was in jail, and they didn't know how to handle type 1 diabetes there, and the girl was begging to have her blood sugar tested, and she ended up dying. It's such a prevalent disease, and not all places are equipped to handle it, which is a load of crap. So I really want anyone who has any power to push for all hospitals to be trained on specific insulin pumps so that they're not taken when you go in the door, because that prolongs the stay. And I would really love for all hospital staff to know the difference between type 1 and type 2 diabetes. So it's pretty insane that I'm even having to say that. But at one point during the stay, my mom asked the nurse if she knew the difference, and she looked down and walked out of the room, didn't say a word. So, yeah, that's all I have to say, I guess. So there are almost 30 million diabetics in the U.S., and, like, there needs to be better care. There needs to be a serious change. So please take video of yourself telling your story, or write it down and send it to me via email. I'm trying to collect all of these things for a super cool project. So my email address will be below, and I look forward to hearing from you. Thanks.